Hey everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Unofficial Talking Badlands show. I'm Gavin Morse.
I'm Gary Morse.
Okay, now, been a little slow on the upload. Sorry everybody, that's due to my work schedule. But we just got through watching the third episode of Into the Badlands. Quick, basically recap if you guys have been watching the first two episodes. Basically, everything's split into territories run by barons, and they're fighting for control. I mean, that's about the sum of it. No guns allowed. Everything's pretty much old-fashioned martial arts, sword building,
Edged weapons.
Bladed weapons, blunted weapons, whatever you can think of. We don't know what happened to the world. I think it's supposed to take care of, 100, 200 years later. It has not been said yet. After some kind of disaster, whether it was disease or war, basically everything's been set probably about to early 20th century. Okay, so let's start off with the episode a little bit. So basically, as we know that Quinn, that Baron, which actually we found the names of the people who play as who. So Quinn is actually played by Martin Scorsese's. So I mean, very good actor. I could not.
Anybody into the Ring pictures?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. Which he's doing a really good job. His son Ryder was attacked by the Widow's people. Basically, he was set up after going to what they call a dollhouse or a brothel, an old-fashioned brothel. All right. If you don't know what brothel means, go look it up. Okay, basically what it is right now is also that MK has been taken in as Sonny's cult. But
he's personally mentoring him.
Yeah.
And Quinn doesn't understand why.
Yeah. So he kind of has interest in it, but at the same time he smells of treachery afoot. All right. Basically, the episode starts off with the Clippers, the Regent, Sonny, and the Baron Quinn going into the Widow's place. Now, this is probably the first major type of battle you see between two different sets of people. Now, one thing is you have the cults that are also present, and they're told to stay behind. Mostly because the fact is they lack experience. They're supposed to be lookouts. Watch and observe. It's an old martial arts method that actually was used in the older days, that you would actually sit there, you would have watch and observe and learn. Alright, don't attack unless you need to, especially when you had a samurai back in correct, if I'm wrong on this, feel free to leave a note. But like a samurai would have a apprentice, or a knight would have an apprentice in Eastern or Western days. All right, they sit there and say, stand back and watch and learn. Same thing here, basically, is what it's saying. All right, this is also the first time we see more projectile weapons. We see two of the Clippers from the Widow's side get killed by crossbows.
First time we've seen a bow weapon used.
Yeah, we didn't think there was bow weapons at all. Pretty much, unfortunately, the Clippers there, they get mauled. I think she sent her toughest Clippers against Sonny, which was probably the most stupid thing she could have done. A couple of the Clippers do get killed by her little girls or anything. One of her girls does die. Quinn stabs her right in the gut. We see a fight between Widow and Quinn, which I would say was a very interesting fight scene. You actually get to see two different styles of fighting, a more British style compared to a more fluid style, then different body types. Widow is definitely smaller than Quinn. I mean, he's a pretty big dude compared to her. So her style will have to be more fluid and move around more and evade, because she doesn't have the mass as he does. And this goes back to the old martial arts philosophy, is guys generally are bigger than girls. It's not saying that they can't get their butts kicked, okay? It's just a matter of genetic standard. There's some girls that are huge, but the majority of girls compared to guys, especially over in Eastern Eastern countries back in the old days, was the girls were a lot smaller, so they couldn't do a lot of the straight up take a lot of hits and hard hitting back as the guys could. No, they had to have their own method of fighting, which was to evade, get around, and strike where they could. And we're actually seeing this difference between Quinn and Widow. You want to add anything?
Well, this goes back. He was using his sword more as a power weapon. He was swinging more a lot of times like a club, although he was very fluid with it, when an English knight would be. But those swords were quite heavy in comparison to like what the swords that she was using.
Alright, now we do see that he basically does, at near the end, he does beat her. But his head starts to hurt again. As you guys know from episode 2, he has a problem basically right up here. Don't know if it's this side or this side. He has a brain tumor and it kicked in. She saw this time to escape. Now, while she was escaping, the girls were going out to the secret passage that they were originally looking for at one time. Well, stupid MK goes and gets the book, which is it's understandable. He wants to get the book, but he makes the stupid mistake of letting the widow's daughter Tilda see him. And he's like, Tilda, I don't know why he did that. That was there's probably some stuff in storylines for that one, but typical teenager is he's got a crush on the girl. Instead of keeping his secret and everything, no, he's gonna sit there and do that. After the battle, basically the Baron now Quinn has control of the oil from the widow, which is going to most likely upset the balance of power. But continuing on with what's going on is Sonny knows about the book, has the book, basically tells him you're being an idiot. I'll get into more of that here in 1 second because that's a big portion of the story right there. The Baron's son, Ryder, played by Oliver Stark. He hasn't woken up. He's basically in a coma. Basically, he's fine, but basically he's slowly dying. The second wife, the new wife, Jade, played by Sarah Bulger, basically sits there and says, I might know somebody who could help. That's when she goes to an old friend of hers,
who grew up in the house with her.
Right. Vale, played by Madeline Maddox. That's the two doctors who were killed in the second episode. That's their daughter. They're adoptive daughter, but still daughter nonetheless. She knows how to save Ryder. Basically, she doesn't want to due to the fact is that she knows that Quinn killed her parents. But that's when Jade's sister says, I can't lose him. Meaning that, okay, this is actually my lover. I'm just in it with Quinn just because, well, it's into the means right now, or basically there's another plan going on. Now, continuing on is we're kind of also seeing a tension between the two wives. His first wife, Linda, played by Aurora Brady, basically is getting attitude like, you're just the slut. I'm the real wife. You need to back off. This is my son. And there, da-da-da-da-da. So basically we're starting to see a cat fight here. And that woman looks like she's treacherous. Where Jade looks like she's more friendly, cute smile to get her way. Lydia is more
conniving.
Basically conniving.
She already knows that Sonny knows her way outside the compound.
Right.
That she didn't tell the Baron Quinn anything about it. So she has her own plan going on. She knows that Ryder's not capable of actually leaving their compound, on the Clippers and whatnot. So where she's going to go with this, that's an unknown. We were discussing earlier, well, is she looking at Sonny to possibly take over, or is she looking maybe to be a second widow and watch Quinn check out, although she's still very much in love with him, that when his demise does come, she's going to take over and have Sonny help her. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, that's one thought right now. Is she going to watch Quinn die and then sit there and say Sonny's the only one who can take over, and basically tell Ryder, you be the you do this and work with Sonny.
He'd be the junior bear.
All right, yeah,
And
junior.
I'm gonna be the Baroness.
All right, but with that also saying is, Minerva basically sits there and says flat out he has swelling of the brain. Lydia doesn't like the idea of him basically drawing a small hole right here. Alright, and you see a little pop. Alright, using an older fashioned method to release pressure. We got medicine for that now, but even sometimes the doctors still have to drill a hole right here to relieve pressure because it's faster, gets too much swelling on the brain, can cause you to die. Alright.
It's bleeding inside the brain, inside the skull cavity, and the pressure had to be relieved, and so she took out an old hand drill and she drilled I'd say probably about a half-inch hole in his head.
You can actually get a hole right here in your head and live from it, everybody. Believe it or not. It's right here. You have to be careful. The temple. You get a hole in the temple, you're dead.
You're done.
It's almost an instant kill. I mean, probably like
That's the thinnest part of it.
Yeah, half a second. But continue on. Basically, Ryder, after he wakes up, Quinn's happy about it in so many ways. Finds out who set them up, which is that doll, that girl. Sends out Sonny out to go get her. Now, when we get back to that, one second. Linda, though, talks to him, basically says, you can't be a Baron. You're not up to be a Baron. 90, basically saying how you were gone for 90 days. You came back. You weren't my boy because he was kidnapped by marauders. Which is probably going to be a backstory on that. But also stating his ecology, which I shouldn't have, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, I'd rather have you hate me than see you 6 feet under. So there's already now tension between Linda and Ryder, which Ryder wants to be Baron. And Ryder has the attitude, I'll become Baron, I'll show you. So he's actually very dangerous. He's actually going to become more dangerous, especially as Quinn's going down. We don't know Ryder's capabilities. We know he's missing 3 toes right now. He has a special attachment, but that does not mean Ryder could not be really skilled. I mean, even though he got jumped in the second episode bad. I mean, he got jumped bad. So let's see. Going on to Sonny going after the girl. Basically, he tells MK to stay put. MK runs into Matilda, who's looking for the girl also because the widow sent her to get her. The girl who Sonny's after. She actually gets to jump on Sonny. She actually slashes Sonny. Wasn't for his little leather armor that he was wearing, he probably would have been hurt really bad. But this is where it gets a little more interesting. She actually puts up a decent fight against Sonny. So it's showing it's not just the Clippers or the Marauders. It seems like almost everybody in the society can defend themselves in some martial arts form or other. It ain't,
Well, if you're special in the business, she has to protect herself against the quote-unquote clients.
Right. We're also seeing more of a different side of Sonny. Is the first time he was more cold and calculated. He has orders to bring her in, but he's not. It's almost like he's changing a little bit. Like he still has that coldness, but he's like, seriously, come on, basic and everything. This isn't gonna do you any good. They run across the rooftops on this part just a little bit. They hid the wires really well. I mean, AMC's doing a really, really good job of
special effects people.
Yeah, the stunt people very well. The girl though at the end though, she says, "You won't stop the widow. You won't stop me." And the girl goes on the back of the balcony, falls right on her head. Pretty much.
Pops it like a melon.
And they all see that. MK and Tilda watch the whole thing.
MK get hit by her.
Yeah. Basically, MK tells Tilda to run, saying, "I won't tell her that you're here." So the Baron finds out about this. He's not too happy. He knows something's going on, and basically sits there and says, "Sonny, set up a meeting with one of the other regents." Meeting one of the other Baron's regents that Sonny knows, which I'll get to that one in a second. Now, all in the meantime, though, MK meets Oh, what's her name? Not Minerva. That's the
Vila.
Vila. Is that the name?
Sonny's love interest.
Yeah. Vel. No,
Vel.
it's Vel.
Vel.
Sonny's love interest. He already picks up on it. You're Sonny's girl. He finds that she can read. Eventually, up to the point, it's like, oh, she can read. Okay, so that's giving an idea right then and there. And Sonny's basically saying, go over there. You know, like basically getting like the big brother. He's kind of acting like a big brother now. Basically sit there and be like, I'm going to smack you upside the head if you don't go over there right now, in so many words. But at the same time, we also see a side of Sonny where he's teaching him to teaching him. MK does not understand any of the teaching. MK is a 15, 16-year-old boy who has a chip on his shoulder. He wants everything done now. He doesn't have, for somebody who's supposed to have real life experience, he has the typical teenage attitude.
Head made out of granite.
Yeah, head made out of granite. I wasn't like that, was I?
Not that bad.
Okay.
Not near that bad.
Okay. That's from the horse's mouth right there. But basically, he sits there and has to teach MK a lesson. MK's not understanding. So what he does is he takes him to his teacher. Now I can't remember his name on top of my head, but Sonny's teacher basically. We kind of see him in the second episode, kind of in the wheelchair. Me and Dad already kind of figured out the way he was, the clothes he was wearing. He was probably the former regent, which we were right. We didn't want to say anything in the last episode. He's wheelchair bound. He basically sits there and tells MK reason why this is, you gotta do it like this, basically. In so many words, giving him a harsh life lesson. And how he does this is fight me. And MK has the attitude like, no, you're in a wheelchair.
So give it your best shot.
Now this, if anybody knows martial artists, there's many martial artists who have what most people would call a handicap. Martial artists don't think of it as a handicap; they think of it as a challenge, and we can very much see this. I've met many martial artists who are blind, deaf, have one eye, one hand. Which I've actually sparred a female martial artist with one eye and one hand, and let me tell you this: she had a very mean left hook, and she was blind in this eye and had this hand was gone, and she was really good. But he beats MK. Even after MK tries to get serious, MK doesn't even pretty much lay a finger on him. It's probably one of the best. It's all choreographed, but it's very, very well done. It's probably one of the hardest stunts to do because moving around a wheelchair is not easy.
Well, it never strikes, and all he does is block and put him in some locks and control him.
Which shows his control. The actor who plays the former regent, he's familiar. I can't remember him. I don't know what I've seen him in, but he looks like a. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look him up a little bit for the next episode. Basically, MK kind of gets a little life lesson. Okay, I need to listen to them, and he also finds out why they're called colts. Colts are horses that have not been broken in. We got to train you. That's what we're doing right now. MK is kind of getting a little like what he needs to understand. Okay, I need to listen to Sonny. Sonny does know what he's talking about. So MK's kind of waking up too, and it's kind of at the same time Sonny's kind of liking it as well. You kind of start seeing almost like a small little relationship going on right now.
Big brother, little
brother. But as of right now, it's still okay. Getting on to the last scenes of this one, I will sit there and say it was very interesting that we got to see that another regent. This regent her name was Zephyr, and supposedly her and Sonny had a former relationship. She wants Sonny back, and she basically says, "I get what I always want." And Sonny's like, "No," and she pretty much already figured out Sonny's with somebody. Do we know she's going to attack that person? I don't know. Probably not, because she doesn't want to lose Sonny, because that will just cause her to lose Sonny more. But her clothing's different. Didn't really get to see it because it was at nighttime, and basically sits there and says in so many words that you can come to our side or kill Quinn, everything will be fine. So basically, she was, in so many words, giving him an order from the other barons. You need to kill Quinn. Quinn's losing it, or you're going to cause an all-out war. So we don't know much about her. All we know is that she has bleached blonde hair. So either she was born like that, or she does peroxide in her hair. Which just seems that there is some basic medical stuff. They still know how to make basic medicine. If you guys don't know, peroxide in the hair turns you bleach blonde. I'd say the final scene is where Quinn is kind of got the whole looking at his son who's sleeping. So
he's on the mend. He's doing better.
Right.
Take some time.
And he starts looking at the papers, or the X-ray, okay, of the tumor. So he starts going to Vale's place. Now, MK asks Vale, because he went to Vale's, which he's not supposed to, and say, "Hey, can you read this and tell me about it? It's of his home." I can't remember the name of the home right now. It's going to drive me insane. And the Baron walks in, base sister said, "You saved my son, can you save me?" Even though she don't trust the Baron, even though the Baron sat there and said, "Thank you for saving my son. I will find the person who killed your parents," and she knows the truth. So basically, that's the setup of the whole episode. This episode was a little more talking than fighting in this one. There was some fight scenes, not many, really not many in this one. I don't think there's only one, two.
Two major ones.
Yeah, two major ones.
Three if you want to MK in the old region.
Yeah, through the MK in the old region. Right now, the storyline's going very well. Don't know what's going to happen here in the next episode. My prediction is there's probably going to be a battle going on. Someone's going to betray somebody. Probably some more people are going to die. I suspect probably... I don't think Quinn's going to die this time, but I expect between the next two episodes for him to try to get a surgery. Either they remove the tumor, which I don't know how they're going to do it, and then someone's going to kill, and then I probably see Ryder killing Quinn. I see at least by episode maybe 8 or 9 Quinn getting killed by Ryder.
Well, something else we don't know either. MK took the book to be read, and of course think, it's in some language that we know. Well, lo and behold, I opened up the book. It wasn't English, Spanish, or French, or even German. It wasn't Sanskrit. And I thought, looked at it closely. Of course, it wasn't Egyptian either, ancient Egyptian. It's probably from the far east, southern east. Looked to be possibly Cambodian. I'm not real sure. I didn't get that good a look at it. Or ancient Burmese, or a language from that area of the world, maybe even Indian. I don't know for sure, but it looked to be an ancient language, which probably she definitely didn't know what it was. And she looked at it, she was kind of perplexed. Which that just even stirred my curiosity even more. Exactly where did he come from?
Right, and if you remember from the first episode, Sonny had a little amulet with the same exact symbol. So Sonny could have actually came from the same place. We don't know much about Sonny's past, and as of right now, MK's kind of a mystery himself, and we know he's looking for his mom, but his mom hasn't showed up yet. I think the widow might know something. And not only the widow, but I think so does Lydia. So
Lydia's putting it together.
Yeah. So we'll find out here in the next episode, which
There'll be some alliances made.
Alliances made, some broken. We might even get to see another Baron. So the small little preview shows some fights going on. So we'll just have to see the next episode. I'll probably have that here up in the next couple of days or so. I don't know how many episodes of Into the Badlands there is. I haven't looked online to see. I just want to get the actors' names. As of right now, I think the show's going very well. It's a very different turn of pace from The Walking Dead, which is another really good show. But I like zombies, don't get me wrong, but it feels good just to see some martial arts stuff. I mean, that's what I'm really into. He's into Walking Dead. He's farther along than I am. I know some basic about it. I've read the first 12 issues of the original comic, so I know some things are different. But Walking Dead's more of its thing. We're gonna get caught up here this next year. Badlands is more my thing. Alright, everyone, that's it for this episode. We'll have the next episode up here in the next couple of days, hopefully. Now, this is also the second episode that's here on Strong Path Entertainment, which is entertainment company that I'm part of. I'm one of the founders of it. This is also linked with our Strong Path Productions page, which hosts our regular videos. Now, Strong Path Entertainment, please check the other links on there. We'll have movie reviews on here, video game reviews, maybe just some upcoming little events we might be doing. I know coming up here in next 2 months, us here at Strong Path Entertainment are going to be at Comic-Con. We'll be doing cosplay interviews, as well as trying to see if we can get an interview with a voice actor or actress or anybody else who's around and just having some plain fun. Other events after that is I'm going to be up in Minnesota here later this next year at the Minneapolis Comic-Con. So I'll have some more updates on that here pretty soon. But this is the end of the third unofficial Talking Badlands show. Everyone, please like and subscribe to us here at Strong Path Entertainment. Got any suggestions for anything you want us to do? Please leave a message for us. We will get back to you as soon as we can. We will take things under advisement too. With that said,
one other thing I would like to say: if you like this show, let AMC know so that they will carry it on. Right now, we know that there are just 6 episodes. We would like to see this.
Okay, he knows more than I do. Then see, this is what happens when you work.
We would like to see this continue on.
Okay, so there is only 6 episodes. I did not know that.
That I know.
That all right. Well, he knows of. All right. Yes. Send us to AMC. Let them see that we're doing a show, that we really love it. You know, we're both martial arts instructors, and I really enjoy this. It reminds me of the old martial arts films that I grew up watching. You know, the Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal, even all the way down to the old like old films. Like the Flying Guillotine. There was a couple of movie series with the guy with one arm, and those were pretty good. I think one of them actually had a guillotine guy in it. I mean, so many different ones. The 5 different hidden styles, which there's so many different ones I can't even think of.
We used to call that Kung Fu theater, and they were all made in China. Most of them are very good. Yeah, most of them are very, very good, very well done. That's what this reminds me of, and I think AMC, if anybody from AMC is watching this, I think you guys are doing an excellent job. I'm envying and I'm jealous, because the fact is, I ain't gonna lie, I would love to be, even if I was on one episode of it, I would love to do it, because it'd be a great experience to see how y'all do it. We get learning experience to learn from other martial artists and some of the actors and actresses that are there, as well as on the production side. But this is the 3rd episode of the unofficial Walking Dead. The unofficial Into the Badlands show. We'll see you guys here in the next couple of days. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.